Ah, there's a mission.
What's up, guys? What's up? So I'm just getting started here. We got a new contest going. It's gonna last the month, giving away a limited edition Drake Vulture ILW 2950. That's from I think that's from a couple years ago. I don't know. Does anybody know the correlation between Star Citizen date and our date? Like, what do you subtract? That up there. Sorry, I'm just doing some maintenance here, and then I'll be ready to rock. The fuck was I just doing? Oh, I'm sending myself, making sure my PayPal's up. Don't send bits, but I'm setting up my PayPal off of my personal email because that's how people dox you. It's crazy that we live in a world that you have to be careful about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's where we are.
Fortunately.
Well, unfortunately, that's not something that I don't think. You know, the problem is that laws. It's hard to pass laws to fix that sort of thing. All right, here we go. Launching. Are you in the PTU or the PU? They're oh my god, my overlay is not working. Dalton, where are you on PTU or regular? They are not the same. Regular is different than the PTU. So they're live. That's just live. PTU is persistent test universe. Or patch test. Sorry, it's patch test universe. And PU is persistent universe. There's two different P's in those. It's Star Citizen for you, right? Here, I'm gonna unmute you from stream so it doesn't sound like I'm talking to myself. Just so you know.
Okay.
Let me see. Give me a voice check real quick.
Test 1, 2.
You're good. You're a little quieter, so that's fine.
Oh, what is that? Oh.
I guess I'm loading live. I don't know. Maybe we'll go PTU. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just getting started is what I'm doing.
Have you streamed before?
Yeah, I used to stream a lot, and it's just one of those things where if you don't do it, it goes away. And I stream across multiple platforms, and I also like being community manager. Like, you know, I did this with Tarkov. I did this with Last Oasis. I did it with another game that I was... anyway, long story short. Oh, Metamorphson. Are we not friends? What's your in-game name? Dalton. What's your in-game name?
Zomon. Z-O-M-O-N.
Z-O-M-O-N?
I believe it's M-O-N.
Did you get a friend request on the top center of your screen?
Hang on, let me put my glasses on again.
Just hold left bracket. Holy crap, look at all the friend requests I have. You may be in there.
Gun. F1.
Pending. Just waiting on you, Zoman.
Yeah, C-O-M-O-N.
Hold on, say it again. C-O-L-M-O-N?
No.
Coleman?
No. Z.
Z. Yeah, I sent you. Look, check your pending.
Pending.
Z-O-L.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah, accept. Ta-da! Now I can join on you and you can join on me.
So far, they haven't respawned, which is good.
Oh, and check this out. I think I have my cameras back up and running. Woo! Look at that. Oh, wait. There's no game in the background. Let's turn that on. Boom. I haven't had joystick cams in forever, so they're back. I'm not going to use them right now, though. Maybe at a later time if we're getting sweaty. As I'm sitting here in socks and shorts.
Okay, I better go back out and empty my load.
Oh, my game sounds are really low. Holy crap.
Oh, not good.
All right, what you up to there, Dalton? Zolman, what are you doing? No, I have crime stat from last night. Shit.
I'm just looting the mission.
I was protecting my buddies who had crime stat themselves. And someone came in and tried to get them. I took them out.
Where you at?
I took them out. Well, I got crime stat, so there's that. I was a bad boy. You know what's annoying? Having to buy individual hacking chips. Buy a couple extra. I can't wait till you can buy these in bulk.
Okay, I gotta figure out where I'm at.
Just hit F2. Alright, we can't do this. I can't walk around with heavy armor on. That just doesn't, it's not my style. Too slow. Too slow. Oh shit, that, the armor has, oh no, it doesn't, good. There we go. Good to go.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Yeah, guess I should turn that off.
Your insurance claim has been sent. Thank you.
Would normally claim all my ships here at Grimhex because Grimhex is like the best place to be, but yeah. Actually, we have quite a bit here. Party Hugh, what's up, bro? I play a lot. I just don't stream a lot. Like, I stream every once in a blue moon. But figured with 3.18 coming back, we're going to be going hard. So I'm going to kind of, this is like my pre-roll to 3.18. Because I'm going to stream while I play hardcore. And we also have a great new community. Been working on it about a year now. Star Citizens Discord. Should be exclamation point Discord. I don't know if AMAC commands work. Let's see. I think that link works. But anyway, we got a new community Discord. It's a non-org affiliated, kind of like, you know, not a Reddit. I hate Reddit. So my goal was to create a safe community Discord that actually has moderation. I'm looking for mods too, by the way. So one of my old friends come join. But we have kind of templated it out, and we've gotten to Discord partner, and we have well over 1,000 users. So coming in 3.18 should be a bustling spot. I know like the Reddit Discord's a little much for me, like 90,000 users or whatever. Too many trolls and whatnot. So we strive to not be that. Of course, that's hard to do as you get big, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Last Oasis, man. I love that game, but holy crap, have I gotten my ass kicked in it so many times. I am definitely a Last Oasis Karen, but I still love playing it. Like, regardless of how shitty the players are, the game's cool as hell. Unfortunately, I think it's dead. Like, Last Oasis Reddit was deleted not too long ago. And I've always kind of championed that they need better moderation. Even on the Season 4 server, which is a private server, like, it ended the season with like 10 players. So unfortunately that game is dead. Although Thornton and I were just Thornton and I were just talking about possibly checking out Osiris New Dawn, which is, you know, that's the thing about Last Oasis. It's a crafting hardcore full loot drop game, but it had vehicles in it you could build, and that's cool. Like, I don't think there is another game where you can build vehicles. Like, can you do that in Rust? I mean, I know there's vehicles, but do you find them or do you build them? And then you're building, like, pre-made stuff, right? You're not really... Make sure my Toby's good. You're not really doing... You're not, like, crafting it. Like, there's a game, Worlds Adrift, that I love to play where you crafted your own stuff. And I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I need to turn Toby off in the MFD. Or in, What am I trying to say? I need to turn Toby off in Mobilas. Although you need it for the Vanduul ships. So anyway. I adjusted my setup. I got my cameras back up and running. I haven't, like, I moved a year ago and I never really put everything back to like streaming configuration. So I'm super excited for 3.18. I hope it drops today or tomorrow. That would be awesome. Let's see if this works.
I would definitely need a better way to loot.
What are you trying to loot?
I'm trying to loot this dungeon that, or not dungeon, but quest that I just done.
I mean, the thing about looting is it's not really meant. I don't think that you're really meant to go down. I think so, BB. I think what are we 1080? I think that you're not really meant to loot like the PvP areas or PvE combat areas.
Okay.
So like bunkers have good stuff in them, but there's so much loot there. You can only take one or two things, and there's like, oh no, game crashed to desktop. Awesome. Or alt tabbed. That was weird. I'm gonna change my vector here, just in case someone's trying to send us to jail. You know how it is. So look, you go down to the bunker. There's 1,000 things you can pick up, but you can only carry like one gun. You know, 2 guns on your back and 1 in your arms. So like, you really need to look for, you know, rail guns, some things that are big money,
Right. Yeah.
and that's really it. Like, oh, sorry, I'm trying to add a little layer here.
Well, at this point, I'm just grabbing guns.
Yeah, but you can only carry. I guess my point is, you can only carry like 3 out. So you can take the sights and stuff like that. There are people that go out. Like, you know about the box, right?
Yeah.
You know about creating boxes by blowing up your vehicle.
Right.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I saw a video on it.
Okay. So, I mean, that's it. You know, if you want to do something like that, you can. Add a browser source. We're totally copying Marcus the Way. He's got the same thing. So like, that's it. If you want to get lots of stuff, you got to bring the box down. And honestly, I don't think it's worth it. Like, money is more important than the gear.
Right.
You can go down to a bunker, clear the bunker in like 5 minutes, grab a kit and bring it with you, and maybe a tractor beam, tractor beam another dead body that you just recently killed. But if you don't hurry, if you're not quick, it despawns. So I just don't know if that's like what I would do if I'm doing bunkers. I do it as quick as possible, and I strip down every time I go down into the bunker, so I'm naked, and I take a kit out with me. So that way, every time I leave, I'm bringing armor and I'm bringing 3 guns, because you don't need a gun to do a bunker mission. So that's how I would do it, but that's just me, and I'm a min-maxer, so a group of 2 or 3 people can all do the same thing and bang out missions in like minutes, and then you're like, doing it as fast as possible. Or you have a buddy or 2. I mean, that's the thing. I guess it really doesn't make sense. The only reason I would go into a bunker with multiple people is so I have a backup in case I get killed, because that's the thing that resets your timer and stops your progress. So it doesn't make sense to share the money because it's not hard, but because the game is the game, it's good to have that insurance of someone else being there.
Right. Yeah.
But you're giving up half of everything, so you want to be twice as fast, which you're not really. I don't know.
Well, especially for me, I'm so damn slow. A turtle can beat me.
Well, I mean, running around and killing people isn't that hard. Like, you just push the middle mouse button, knock them down, and stomp on them. Boom, done. Like, you can literally kill everybody in a minute or 2. It doesn't matter how old or slow you are. Your character all moves the same speed. You know what I mean? You get to to live life in virtual reality.
Okay, I think I've got about everything I'm going to get.
I mean, it's a legit way of making money, and then you're also bringing kits out, which is worth money. But if you find that golden goose, the railguns, like I would literally spend no more than a minute looking for loot, because any more than that, and you're making way more money on the mission than you are with the loot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, buddy. All right, let's see if we can get this done quickly.
Oh,
Security Depot 1 at Lyria is kind of a pain in the ass. There's a little defilade crater you can land in, but the last time I tried to do that last night, honestly, when I got the crime stat, the turrets were able to shoot through the fucking rocks. So hopefully they can't do that again, but we'll see. We will see.
I just got a grenade launcher.
There's a defilade right there. Grenade launchers are fun. Actually, there's a better one right here. Fuck off. And on the ground. It's important to haul ass. Oh, I don't have a fight suit on, do I? I don't have a helmet on. Am I gonna die here? I am, ain't I?
Probably.
I'm dying. Let's see if we can make it in time. I thought I brought... Oh, I did bring a med gun. Run! Why aren't you running? What the fuck? Why am I walking? Are you kidding me? What the hell is wrong with this game sometimes? And now I can't... I'm fucked. Ugh. My stupid gun just dropped or something. This is so stupid. This is how I start off playing Star Citizen. I get out of my ship because I bring a helmet because I'm an idiot. But beyond that, I drop my fucking med gun for no reason that I brought with me. So now I'm going to end up in jail for dying at a fucking security depot. This is Star Citizen, ladies and gentlemen. Hardy Hugh, this is why I haven't been streaming this game. It's so fucking stupid. And there I go. I'm dead. In prison for fucking 5 or 6 hours because of a stupid game bug. So fucking annoying. So fucking stupid that those types of bugs continuously happen 10 years after I bought the fucking game. And I'm sick of people saying it's an alpha. Enough with the dumb excuses. Here we are in jail because of a fucking game bug. And of course I'm not going to have a face, so I had to log out because of a fucking game bug.
That definitely sucks. Okay, I'm done here.
It's just fucking ridiculous that all that just happened. That's ridiculous.
I agree.
Like, how is the game so bad that a fucking item in my hands just drops randomly for no reason at all? And it's just like, it's incomprehensible that their coding is so bad that elevators haven't worked for 5 years. Is there any game ever in alpha that's had a single problem like that, just nonstop?
I have no idea. Okay, where am I going?
I don't know. Where are you going?
I don't know. I'm trying to find my way out of this bunker.
GG, then I fucking fall. All the bunkers are pretty much the same map, with little variation to them. So once you know one, you know them all. And they're fairly simple. They're not by any means complex. There's 2 layers, and the exit looks the same on every single one. It's got the boxes out front and the stairs. As far as I think, there's only 2 places in the map there's stairs. One is the actual stairs that goes up and down from the upper and lower level, and the other is the stairs that takes you to the exit.
Huh. Okay, I must be downstairs.
I'm so fucking pissed that I died when I knew what to do and I was good enough to bring, well, lucky enough to bring a med gun, stupid enough to not bring a helmet because I knew I was going to Lyria the whole time. I'm just so mad that the game just kills you and skill is no part of it at all.
When venturing out, always keep an eye out.
There we go.
I'm going to grief this guy because I'm mad at the game.
Poor guy.
I would have probably committed suicide too if I was him. So here's an interesting. There's no such thing. Unless if somebody don't see someone So basically, someone got in trouble the other day, and they were a legatus, and they only got a month's suspension. And there's a dude talking in chat about how someone that only has a $45 account gets banned for like 10 years, and that is actually the truth. It's interesting that CIG, they're really starting to cross some lines that can get them in some serious hot water with the gaming community. If you start treating people that spent more money in your game differently than people that didn't spend as much money.
to your recent actions, we've reduced time on your sentence. Isn't that great?
Congratulations. You have completed your required sentence in our facility. We at Klesha Rehabilitation are extremely proud to have played a role in your rehabilitation and hope that you've used this time to better yourself as a human and as a member of civilized society.
All right, take care, man.
Just when we think we're out, you all pull us back in. The mining profession journey has been... This week, it's another Journey to 4.0 special, where we jump farther ahead and take a look at work scheduled to make its Persistent Universe debut in the upcoming 4.x branch of release. And this week, we're proud to bring Star Citizen art director Ian Leyland back to share with us a first look inside the buildings of Star Citizen's landing zones.
So building interiors is something we've always wanted to do, because of, we've had cities in the game for a while. We have many cities, we have many buildings, therefore we could have many interiors. It's a perfect opportunity to put in a lot of play space. Now, with the players flying around these buildings, they've been largely urban landscapes, fairly uninteractable. We've done a few landing pads to get the players in and out there, but really the real good stuff was on the inside. So up until now, we've been on the outside wondering about the inside, and today we're going to talk about the inside, looking outside. All right, so we're building interiors. The way in which we approach the concept development, now this was just a pure
At CitizenCon 2952, we introduced a new initiative called Journey to 4.0, showcasing stories about development specifically for 4.x branch of release. From new mission types like investigations to flight experience changes such as the master modes, from life in the verse-altering resource management systems to anything and everything Pyro related. The Journey to 4.0 is our chance to, well, to step outside the traditional weekly update cadence and look farther ahead than usual. And knowing Star Citizen, this journey will probably be one filled with plenty of twists and turns along the way. And the initiative itself will extend beyond this year's CitizenCon to become a semi-regular series of stories and showcases as you're about to see today. Now, most folks are familiar with the process of concept art, that act of creating expression to discover that which you want to add to your project, as well as determining that which you most definitely do not. It's perhaps the most exploratory and experimental part of any development process, and it extends beyond just the visual. Now, today's Journey to 4.0 presentation is from senior sound designer Matt Gabney, a discussion of the process of creating audio concepts for environmental reverb on the distant alien worlds of Pyro.
Hello everyone, my name is Matt Gabney. I'm a senior audio designer at Cloud Imperium Games, and today I'm here to talk about reverberation, ambient sound design, and a few concepts we're experimenting with for Pyro planets. Without extensive soundproofing, most spaces will produce many closely spaced reflections, which reach the listener shortly after the initial dry sound. We hear this series of reflections as a single continuous sound, which we call reverb. Reverb is created when a sound occurs in space with pressurized atmosphere, sending sound waves out in all directions. These waves reflect our surfaces in space, decaying in amplitude until reflections eventually die off. It's my own hypothesis that the experience of sound is about 30% of the human experience and possibly up to 50% of the game experience. Different reverberations give us a rough idea of the space we have around us. During a phone call, for example, where we can't see the other person we're talking to, it's still easy to get a rough idea of the physical space they're in. The reverberation does that. Oh, hi, Mom. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. We're filming. I'm gonna call you back. Thanks. So that's where I put it. Hey, Mom. No, I'm sorry. We're still filming. I can't talk now. I'll call you back, okay? Thank you. Bye. Checkmate. Here's one reverb for it, for example, and here's how the other would sound. In video game development or in audio production in general, getting the right feel for space is absolutely crucial for the immersion of the audience. As audio designers, our task is often to recreate an effect that closely matches the visuals. In reality, often the best sound design work is what doesn't get in the way of interpreting the scenario. So our work is unnoticed until there's an issue with what you're hearing. Basically, there's two schools of thought in layman's terms, analog and digital. Either there's a software generating reverb on a signal based on a complex algorithm, or you capture an area that you like the natural reverberation of and use the created impulse response, or IR for short, to generate reverberation through it, which is what we did at the basement of CIG. One big advantage we had with the CIG parking lot is the huge surface area on both levels, with a lot of parallel flat surfaces that can create delays, all kinds of distortions, and it's pretty much one driving element that I wanted to use for Pyro. How cool is that the new building we just moved into could be used this way for the new solar system? Of course, the IR we capture is also digital, which allows us to use them in-game. So, where would it make sense to use IR in-game? My current task as one of the new senior sound designers in the team is to get some concepts together for the new Pyro solar system we showed some videos of during the latest CitizenCon. Based on the art direction I received, Pyro is a hostile environment. Any life developing on those planets is based on very different rules than what we have on Earth, and in Stanton as a consequence. And the basic idea is to make the planet sound otherworldly, unusual, a bit different, but still create something that pleases the ears of the players. It's a fairly contradictory pitch, so if you're me, after receiving such a task, you go home and cry under the shower for a bit. What I came up with is a list of complex systems that will allow us to generate several layers of reverberation that often doesn't exactly belong to the physical space you're in, and has a certain musical tone, plus some other granulated effects to give you sounds that could not possibly come from our solar system, making the familiar sound unfamiliar in subtle ways. This involves a lot of experimentation, so anything I can show you now is purely so we could have a clearer conversation about concepts. It's not confirmed, validated, or even discussed at this stage. I'm just coming up with ideas on my own to have a content and possible systems to talk about later when Pyro audio goes into production. And so why do we use IR instead of algorithmic reverb? The reason is simple: we're generating content on a planetary scale. The basic idea is to come up with a typology of sound parameters that would essentially allow us to procedurally generate audio, but with what we're designing, for a system this size, your absolute first priority is optimization, while being able to control and test for all the parameters. So the design has to be clever and the resources are controlled. IR takes substantially less processing power than algorithmic reverb. What I often did for the concepts of Pyro is to layer several different sized IRs on top of each other. This gives you an odd feeling about the space around you and allows me to treat the layers differently with a few parameters and a few knobs. So that is a quick look into one aspect of sound design for Star Citizen. I hope you enjoyed.
Hi, my name is Dan Truffin. I'm Assistant Director for PU Content, and with Thorsten Leiman here today, we will be talking to you about something we think it will change the way Star Citizen functions and works and how the players will play the game in the future, and that is resource management. Resource management is the underlying system that allows items to produce, consume, and store resources in the game. It is the digital representation of real-life cables, pipes, tanks, batteries, or anything like this that you can imagine.
It's the foundation of the ships, where you have certain resources like fuel and energy powering certain items on the ship, but it's also the system that will lie below any station or any vehicle, anything that you can imagine in our universe that actually requires a certain type of resource.
Resource management is not just a system that helps ships function. It is a thing that's integral to the functionality of the entire universe. It will be the way surface outposts function, underground facilities, space stations, landing zones, everything in Star Citizen will function using resource management.
So we will start with the smaller vehicles, and the gameplay for those smaller vehicles way more interesting than what we have right now. And from that, we can move on to like bigger ships, and finally the capital ships will have a real purpose in the world, and where it will have a real meaning that you have the multiple roles inside those ships.
It will drastically increase the time to kill for all vehicles in Star Citizen, and it will encourage people to disable ships rather than destroy them. Missions like Siege of Horizon will increase in scope and scale up a lot more with the use of resource management, as players will be able to cripple resources, change the way resources are distributed, cut power, cut certain fuel and critical parts in order to progress further in those missions.
We can suddenly scale a lot bigger than what we have right now. And the reasons are that we have more control over the powers of certain platforms there, and we can introduce some interesting gameplay that facilitates these functionalities.
Resource management is going to open up the possibility of player structures, player-owned outposts on planet or stations in space, where the player will have to manage resources, bring in fuel, do repairs. And this will not be something that only caters towards the engineer. This will be something that is valuable for everyone in the world of Star Citizen.
Resource management will finally allow players to build their own bases and their own homesteads and actually keep that loop engaging and fun.
And really, this is the main thing that makes multi-crew gameplay possible. We envision the players taking on roles like engineer, mechanic, tactical officer. And while you have your engineer trying to maintain all the resources functioning and flowing perfectly and all the items in good operation, you will have mechanics running throughout the ship, trying to change fuses, repair various things that have broken down. You will have tactical officers moving shields from one side of the ship to another in order to counter whatever incoming damage you have. Obviously, the pilot is going to be doing his job trying to move the ship out of harm's way. The gunners are going to be taking out enemy incoming fighters or other ships. This is how we envision this entire ecosystem just coming together and providing what we hope is true multi-crew gameplay. And for all of you out there that are waiting for the Idrises and Javelins and want to use these ships, this is the system that is going to make using those ships possible. So all that said, this is a really important system for Star Citizen, but let's dig into the details and see what exactly this is. Resource management can be broken down into several key elements. Power, energy, resources, life support, item maintenance, relay handling, access control, and gravity. So let's start with power, energy, and resources. The players can choose to overload items in order to get more efficiency out of them at the risk of burning them out. They can also underload items to save some resources if they don't need the full efficiency of an item. The players will have to pay attention to the balance of resources, power, fuel, coolant, heat generated, in order to maintain a well-oiled and balanced ship. And overall, prioritizing certain items and their resource consumption.
Life support is the most important thing you have to pay attention to in your ships now, since atmosphere is finite in all the spaces that you might discover. And here, the life support system is a key factor. Here, the life support, you have to maintain it, meaning you have to make sure that the consumables inside the life support generator are always there to make sure that it can generate breathable atmosphere for you, or the temperature is actually increased to a human livable factor, so you don't freeze to death, or you are not cooked.
As part of item maintenance, the player will be able to control items throughout the ship, turn them on, turn them off. They will be able to remove broken items and replace them with new items, or sometimes dodgy items, depending on their income. It will be able to control which sub-items are installed in those items, either as fuses or subcomponents that give them various bonuses to that specific item. They will be able to run repair gameplay and replace broken fuses when the item stops working or takes enough damage.
Relay handling is the actual management part that you, as the engineer on the ship, have to do there. It's basically defining these circuits in the most effective way, especially for bigger ships. So a relay is something that defines which items are connected to each other. And what we want to achieve here is allowing you to create the best possible outcome for your ship.
With access control, we're introducing ship roles. The captain will be able to assign certain roles to each of his crewmates, and for example, say one of the player becomes the engineer, which gives them specific access to certain controls, while the person that is the pilot will not have access to those controls. At the same time, a gunner will only have access to a specific gun or all the guns on the ship.
And finally, gravity. So gravity is the concept that you experienced already in every ship. So there's always a ground, there's always a down, there's always an up. And we would like to give you some more control over that. So because it requires some energy, and if you want to run your ship more energy efficient, we want you to allow to switch off gravity. Or there might be other use cases where a zero gravity environment is more useful than another one.
So if it wasn't clear by now, the scope of resource management touches pretty much every aspect of life in Star Citizen. So we're doing a lot of talking, but I bet what everyone would like to know is, where are we with all of this right now? Currently, we have working in-engine prototypes of the following systems: power, gravity, life support, and the relay network. With a power system, we can overpower and underpower items. We can set the priorities of item producers and consumers inside the ship, and we can set the path of resources inside the ship through the resource relay network.
And with the power system, we already can distribute the base energy and base fuel throughout the ship. So we can make sure that each item actually gets the resources they need. Creating your own resource path is basically defining the routes, or the most efficient routes that the energy or the resources have to take throughout your ship.
We can also demonstrate many aspects of the life support system, including making new players suffocate, Fire expulsion. Change the temperature in each room. Making new players suffocate. Venting and filling rooms with atmosphere. And making players suffocate again. In the last year, we've made tremendous progress with the resource management system, but with a system that is this big and complex, we do not want to rush it. We want to just get it right and get it right from the beginning. So let's talk about what's next for the resource management system.
As you can tell, resource management is a huge endeavor for us.
So like everything else, we'll probably not get everything in the initial release, but this is what we're aiming for. Interactable and accessible items on ships, relay gameplay, changing fuses on the relays, resource balancing, defining control groups that will be accessible through the MFDs, allowing people to create presets for your resource network for each ship, an engineering UI with at least a list or schematic view of your ships, external engineering screen for ships, allowing engineers to define the tuning parameters that can be accessed by the pilot with the press of a button, like loading presets and creating presets. And after the initial release, everything else will fall into place with subsequent patches. We started talking about resource management about 2 years ago. It is pretty much the evolution of what used to be the old pipe system. And this has been an interesting journey. And finally, we're starting to see the fruits of our labor. And we're starting to see all the possibilities of gameplay that we can open up to the players in the future. It's exciting to work on something that's so central to the world of Star Citizen and that can impact the gameplay of so many people, irrelevant of what they choose to do in the world of Star Citizen.
Resource management is the most exciting feature that I've ever worked with. It's such a groundbreaking feature that will change the entire game from its core. I think we never had this opportunity to change the game into this direction where we are heading right now, where we will finally have all the tools in place to actually allow meaningful multi-crew gameplay and meaningful decisions for all the players, where every decision counts. This is the stuff that makes me really proud of what we are working on right now.
Thank you for letting us share our progress with you, and we hope you're happy with all this progress, and have a nice CitizenCon.
Hello, my name's Ian Leyland and I'm the art director for Star Citizen, and today we're going to talk about an internal initiative called Lorville 2.0. Now with Lorville, and specifically the Lorville cityscape, it was probably the first major landing zone we'd ever had to do. It was the first time we put a landing zone on a planet, and we had the player fly there with minimal restrictions, although it did have that really big no-fly zone. But when we did subsequent landing zones, we built up a bit more of a knowledge base and experience base about how we can effectively introduce cityscapes. So Area 18, New Babbage, Orison, we all developed more techniques, and we always wanted to go back internally and put that knowledge back into Lorville. To start us off, I'll throw it over to Eric, our principal concept artist, and he can show you some more.
Hi, my name is Eric Gagnon. I'm a principal concept artist for Star Citizen and Turbulent in Montreal, and I'm here to talking about the Lorville 2.0. When I started to work on the concept, initially what I did is to create a variety of sketches, black and white sketches of a different approach of that city. We create a side panel of a silhouette of the building. Mainly the reason we need to work on that is for mainly gameplay issues, because we would like to make a gameplay in the interior buildings, and we need to create a bigger city to let the player have a fun experience to flying through that. Yeah, so after the sketching process and get some approval, I need to know very well the footprint of that city. We build a city from a human scale, you know. We have nothing in that city, they build in a gray zone. So everything is built from that unit, and it's built from the unit of the CBD. So this is mainly the two main units I used to build a city. So we have a kind of a proportion in terms of lengths and distances to respect. So this is why I used the 3D basis to working on that. So I need to make sure that the ratio of everything fits well, to approach closely as possible. So mainly the goal is not to dig right away on the details, but it's to stay on the big picture and to see if the skyline makes sense. So this is a good challenge to play with that, and I think I did a nice job on that, because at the end, what the feeling we have, it's like a real city. So I use my 2D background in concept artist to make the best as possible concept art with all the techniques inside of it, 3D, paint over, sketching, painting, and at the end, I was needed to create a very speechless concept to sell the mandate to the people involved in that, and they make sure they believe on that project, and they could say, well, okay, now we are a Lorville 2.0 and we're ready to moving on that.
Thanks, Eric. There's some beautiful image there, and we had a lot of fun internally developing that cityscape. Now, we're not just in concept development. We've actually just passed our white box milestone internally, so we're going to jump over to Max, and he's going to show you where we're at.
Bonjour, mon nom est Maxime Guindon. Je suis chef environnement artiste sur le projet Star Citizen. Mon mandat en ce moment est Lorville 2.0. Premièrement, je voudrais dire bonjour à la communauté francophone de Star Citizen, à toute la communauté en fait. Ce que vous faites, ce que vous partagez m'inspire énormément dans mon travail. From the concepts done, it was time to start it in engine, and we've had to evaluate what was possible to do and to extend or to make it much bigger than the initial Lorville city, up to something that matches the ambition. For instance, we are keeping the L19 area, we are keeping the CBD, we're keeping the spaceport, and we're building upon this and just extending the city. We've done several tests with the transit system, the rails, and we try to extend it out a bit. We're keeping the same number of gates, but we're moving them out. And so throughout these tests, we've built the city as just placeholder, white box, very primitive, to have this layout, this fast iteration of the whole city done, and then that we could see it and get feedback on it. So it will feel more like a believable city. We hope it to be fun to fly around and like to actually do some races in it. We're building arches, bridges, and like underpasses, and it makes it interesting to be able to fly around. We see the community of players, they're doing like emergent gameplay of races, and that inspires us. And then the way that we're building the city. We are starting now the gray box. We have like Montreal's tools teams now that are working on like Houdini tools, and we're chatting with them, see what we could use from the library of tools. There will be several areas of like a higher level of detail, especially around landing pads on rooftops and lookout areas. And these are the places where the players will be able to land. These will eventually connect to the interior spaces that will be built later. And in that sense, Lorville will be ready for those interiors. We started as a team of 2 artists working on Lorville, and now we're 5. And we could even be like more soon. Each artist has slightly different skill sets, and we complete each other. They bring ideas. I let them bring ideas to the table on how to advance what we're doing, make it kick-ass. So that's really important. So I hope you'll like what you see, and we can't wait to show you more. I'm happy about the opportunity of working on this mandate, because it's gonna make such a huge difference.
Thanks, Max. That's looking great, and hopefully you guys can kind of see, even in a white boxing format, we're seeing really good scale reads and understanding about how we can make the cityscape of Lorville probably one of our best yet. And we'll be showing more soon. Thanks for letting us showcase that for you today. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hi, my name is Yogi Klatt. I'm a gameplay programmer in the vehicle feature team. I'm here with Rich Towler, David Colson, Jed Talbot, and Johnny Young. And today we're gonna talk to you about the upcoming changes to the flight systems and the combat systems, which are done specifically for Squadron 42, but which will eventually find their way to the persistent universe. We want to define ship roles for the game because every role in itself and every ship can offer unique gameplay opportunities for individual players.
We want to provide a lot more variety to the gameplay in Star Citizen, a lot more opportunity for different careers, different responsibilities, and different sort of perspectives and views on gameplay where people contribute different types of work and different types of jobs.
Star Citizen is supposed to be a big expansive game with giving the players lots of chances to have a variety of different experiences. It's not just about combat, it's not just about an economy, it's not just about piracy, it's about all of those things happening at the same time. So we need ships that can act and function in different ways to support all of those different goals.
In trying to figure out these roles and define what they are and make the gameplay for them, we started very heavily leaning toward combat, mostly because combat is a mechanic that is very widely applicable throughout the game, and the principles behind it apply to various other roles in the game.
We've been working away in the S42 branch, and this has really allowed us to isolate these ships. So we've kind of broken it down into archetypes, and it's really allowed us to kind of break down what these ships do. And also it's to make sure that when we are defining these roles and balancing these roles, that we're putting the ships in the right place, because we don't want the ships to be like, you play this ship, it means you dominate this part of the game. That there's always got to be plus and minuses so the balance is right. So there's still some crossover between the ships. So just picking one type of ship just isn't just a win.
We have already defined several ship roles, and they're usually known as light, medium, and heavy fighters.
All right, I'm
fighters
back.
are also fighters which are very
I'm back
dominant in the,
in
area
the
of
saddle again. I guess I'm gonna load the PTU.
But they come with a downside, because obviously the light, which means the materials chosen on the ship, are probably not the strongest. So it's more about the attack. It's more about trying to outposition and get in there and attack and get out of the situation.
Heavy fighters are kind of the opposite. They're not supposed to be really good at one versus one, but they excel at N versus N engagements. So when we have group battles. Medium fighters for us, internally we call multi-role
All
fighters.
right, got a
because they
patch
have a lot
here.
of hard points, so they have a lot of loadout flexibility. So a player can tune them to the role whatever they want, but they will never reach the performance of dedicated ships.
A lot of the medium fighters sometimes come with a turret as well, so they've got that additional gameplay of the turret, which is aimed to kind of counter the lack of maneuverability that their ships have.
And then additionally to that, we have racing ships, which are basically just really fast at changing the velocity vectors. And interceptors, which we basically just want to go very fast in the forward area, but never reaching really the performance envelope of dedicated dogfighters.
Interceptors are designed to kind of catch up to ships and disable them. So they come with kind of advanced kind of hardware on these ships.
Bombers, on the other hand, are, well, they're just slobbing heavy ordnance at larger targets, so you use them to take out bigger ships. But they're not really good at, well, killing small fighters. And then from smaller ships coming to larger ships like Constellation and up, we want to change the gameplay to be less about positional combat, but more going into the naval style of combat, where it's important to show the correct shield and fire arcs and timing your shots over long distances.
So the purpose of ship roles is to really help players understand what ships should be used and when they should be used. And it's really about delivering on those kind of gameplay promises that we've been talking about over the past kind of several years.
If every ship is the same, it's not fun. But if we have dedicated ships with dedicated pros and cons, then we can create very exciting combat environments. And the biggest challenge we see in order to get that gameplay we want is the current speed that we have in combat.
Billboard gameplay? What is that? Oh, someone wrote in a ship. That's hilarious. All right, guys, I'm going to drop the stream for a second and change my settings to GPU streaming, because I don't think I am right now.